Just a little background. My name is Nicholas Luna. I am a health insurance broker. My information is not up here yet. It is now. I've been in health insurance for over 10 years, going on 11 since 2008. Just a little background story of who I am. Parents are from Jalisco, Mexico. I was born here in the United States. I was born in Chicago. My parents divorced. I moved to Oxnard. You guys know where Oxnard's at? 805 Feedeman. Went to Northridge. Yeah, I went to Northridge, studied kinesiology. My intentions were to be a physical therapist because I had a serious injury when I was in high school, which took me out. I was on crutches for 2 months in the hospital for about a week. Pretty much had a complete hip replacement at the age of 16, what people normally have when they're 70. Really fell in love with with the rehab process and learning about the body. I had broken a lot of bones, so I figured, well, fuck, I might as well study kinesiology, learn how to fix myself, and then, be a physical therapist. But when I was in school, I had a change of heart. I read a book and completely wanted to get into business. I ended up falling into health insurance because I needed a job. And when I got into, I worked for Anthem Blue Cross. Have you guys heard of it? Big company in California, one of the biggest insurers. Biggest insurers in the country. I was like, well, I might as well learn health insurance because I'm gonna have to deal with it either if I work as a physical therapist or even if I have my own company, I have to purchase insurance for my employees. So I had no idea how health insurance worked, got thrown into the industry, and I learned, and then I worked there for about 8 years. They said, we no longer need your department or your job, so they cut me off. I was like, what am I gonna do? And then I realized, like, wait a minute, I know health insurance, I speak English, and I speak Spanish. I think I could do something with this. One of the guys from my softball team, one of the Gammas, he introduced me to his buddy from, from back in his salsa playing days. And he was a health insurance broker, or he still is. He introduced me to him. I reached out to him, kind of to talk to him more about getting a job. And then he ended up telling me, I'm a health broker. And then I always was curious about it when I worked at Anthem Blue Cross, being in sales. And when I was at Anthem Blue Cross, they were always like, it's so complicated. Like, thinking back, and now I know that they were kind of being haters because they saw what I can bring, right? I'm Latino, I speak English, I speak Spanish, that's 2 markets, I can do some damage. I talked to this broker, he's like, no, dude, it's really simple to be a broker. All you need to do is pass your exam with the state, you get insurance, you have to pass another state exam, or another exam for the federal, through Medicare, and then you get insured, or contracted by each insurance company. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. And then, little by little, I started realizing, like, wait a minute, like, it's a really big market. Baby boomers, we were just talking about, they're the biggest generation in the United States. They're retiring. 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every single day for the next 10 to 15 years. That means they're all gonna have to get onto Medicare. Someone's gonna have to help them. So I was like, wait a minute, that's me, right? So I was like, opportunity, right? But in reality, I did it because I just knew a skill and I knew I can help people. I once explained health insurance to a 10-year-old who spoke English on the phone so they can explain it to their mom how their plan worked. So I'm like, if I can explain it to a 10-year-old, I can explain it to anybody. So I do currently do work full-time. I manage a property. What's really funny though is that, have you guys heard of, Section 8? There's other different levels of affordable housing. Mine's tax credit. So you pay a fixed amount, but you have to qualify for it. Very similar to how Medi-Cal works. So like Medi-Cal, they look at all your bank account, your work and stuff like that. And then I started putting one and one together. So a lot of the stuff that I do at work was identical to Cover California. So my job actually helped me do Cover California a lot easier. So I do both, but I really love my health insurance. Do you need health insurance? Yes, you do. Simple. Why? Because if you fall and break a bone, you get injured, you get sick, you will go bankrupt. It's very expensive to get injured. Give you a quick example. I was just telling the guys in the front, my barber got injured. He went to the hospital. and he got a bill for $13,000. My God, that's wrong. And then finding out that the rate that he was being charged was a different rate versus insurance, because he didn't have insurance. He had a health share plan, and that negotiated rate that the hospital did with that health share organization was $13,000. And it was for, I think, his appendix burst. So I was like, wow. 5-6 months later, he had gallstones, and his first bill showed up. It was $73,000. He posted it online. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I was just like, I didn't know. I just was just like in awe. He ended up reducing it to $50,000. I mean, he's stressing out because, I mean, he had the service and he has a business, so he's freaking out. Like, he doesn't know what's going to end up happening, if he's going to have to pay for it. They're going to put a lien on his property, on his business. So at least when you have insurance, the medical providers won't go after what you own, because there's a cap. And I don't want to go in, I'll go into detail later as far as like other stuff. But when you have insurance, it protects you. They won't go after your car, your home, or anything like that. You have a set amount what you can pay with the insurance company that protects you from being sued. Cool? So do you need insurance? Yes, you do. So there's primarily two types of insurance. PPO is like the fancy one, right? This is like the one everyone wants. It's like a la carte. It's like going to a restaurant and just being, I want a steak. I don't want the combo. I want to create my own side dish. I want shrimp side dish, and I'll take a little bit of mac and cheese. You're able to, it's a preferred provider organization. What that means is the insurance companies works with different doctors. So you're able to work within that network. There's already a set price for services. Like, say for example, my guy up here, he's a pediatrician. I'm the insurance company. My guy, a pediatrician. I have a lot of customers. I'm gonna bring you a lot of business because I'm gonna put your name on my website. So when my customers go to find a doctor in your area, you're gonna come up. So we're gonna advertise to you for free, because we're a big insurance company. But we're not gonna pay you the rate that you want. So say for example, for a checkup, you wanna charge $150. We're gonna be like, no, we're gonna pay you $75, because we're gonna bring you so many customers that it's gonna make up the difference. So you're like, cool, I'll charge a cheaper, I'll get paid a little less, but they're gonna do my advertising and I'm gonna get a steady flow of customers. Simple. You work directly with the insurance company. You don't have to go get like an authorization or anything. It's just, I come, my customer sees you, you bill me, I pay you. Done. Now let's just say you get sick, you sprain your ankle. You don't have to go to a general doctor first. You can go straight to an orthopedic with a PPO. You present them your card. If they're an in-network doctor, then they're gonna get paid the negotiated rate, and you don't need to get an authorization, so it speeds up the process. So one thing with the PPOs though, because health insurance has gone up so much and people were uninformed on how the system worked, they were going to see these specialists when they really didn't need to see them. For example, who here plays sports? Raise your hand. Okay. You fall, you fall down and like, oh my God, I tore my MCL, right? Like, you probably didn't. You heard a pop and it's like a muscle sprain, right? I need an MRI, right? So that you go get an MRI, you get the MRI. MRIs are $1,500. The insurance company is going to pay it. But in reality, you probably didn't need an MRI. Some doctor could have just looked at you and like, oh no, you got a muscle sprain, you're fine. So what a lot of people, the insurance companies started noticing is like, no. We're not gonna just let you go to our preferred provider organization, we're going to create these other plans called health savings account and high deductible health plans. So it's going to make the consumer a little bit smarter when it comes to their medical insurance. All right, same thing. You fall down, I sprained my knee. I think tore my MCL. I need an MRI. Sure, but you have a $5,000 deductible. Oh, maybe I don't need an MRI. Maybe it's just a muscle sprain. Because before the insurance company starts to pay for that MRI, you have to pay the first $5,000, the first $1,500 of that bill before the insurance company pays for anything. Does that make sense? So, who here works full-time? Raise your hand. Okay. You get insurance at your work. What type of plan do you have right now?
I think it's a high deductible.
PPO.
PPO?
A high deductible health plan.
I don't know.
Cool, let's take a look. I can tell you. Oh, perfect. All right, I got this one. So he has Blue Cross Blue Shield. So your employer is based out of, their headquarters outside of California.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just an FYI, Blue Cross and Blue Shield in California, they're competitors. Outside of California, they're one company. That's how I can tell. Oh, it's based out of New York, right there. So yeah, you have a high deductible health plan.
Uh-huh.
So what that means is, in insurance, you have the initial cost. You have two things: your premium, and then you have your deductibles and copays. I didn't list it up here, but I have Google, and Google's the best. So health insurance premium is what you pay every month. You pay that premium just like you pay your cell phone. Raise your hand if you have a cell phone. Okay. Whether you use your cell phone's minutes or use all of your data, whatever, I don't know if you guys have limited data or unlimited, whether you use 10 gigs of data, whether you use 100 gigs of data, it doesn't matter. You always pay the same cell phone bill if you have unlimited, right? Same thing with the premium. Premium is like your cell phone bill. You pay it every month. Whether you use your insurance or not, you're paying a premium. Now, if you work, it's going to get deducted from your paycheck. Anywhere from $20 to $120 a paycheck, just depending on what kind of plan. How much do you spend every paycheck?
How much do they take out?
Yeah.
Every paycheck, it's every 2 weeks. They take around 23 something.
Okay, that's too bad.
For
So
health and dental.
Health and dental. So that sounds about right. Most employers will usually pay for it, or you pay very little. Now, if you go out to covered California, it's going to cost you a little bit more, but it also depends on your income. When it comes to having private insurance, they base it off of your income. So if you make more money, you pay a higher premium. If you make less money, you get a tax credit, so you pay less. Are we all on the same page? Cool. So that's your premium. Now the second thing is, you guys are familiar with car insurance, right? You get in an accident, you pay a $500 deductible, insurance company pays for everything, you just pay your $500. That's pretty simple, right? Health insurance is not so simple. So usually, let me give you see if I can find an example. Okay, so here we go. 1,350, 27. We're just going to use these numbers, not necessarily what's in here. So remember I was telling you about the MRI, right? MRI costs about $1,500. That's what the MRI costs you. So if you have a deductible that's $1,350 or $270, that means you're going to have to pay the first $1,350. We'll stick with this one. Once you pay that, then the insurance company is going to pay whatever's left over. It's $150. The insurance company will pay 60, 70, 80% of that. You pay the remaining balance. So now as a health consumer, you're going to be like, well, maybe I don't need that MRI because I'm going to have to pay for the first $1,350 before the insurance company pays for anything. That's to prevent them from spending any money that they don't need and also kind of help you guys be more conscious, the consumer. So that is a high deductible health plan. Now, I know this gets confusing. Any questions so far? Any questions? We're all on the same page? I know it gets a little boring, but trust me, if you understand it, you feel a little bit better when you call your insurance company, you deal with doctor's office, you don't feel like you're getting ripped off. Because sometimes the doctor's offices will charge you for stuff that you're not supposed to be charged for, because they know the consumer is uneducated. Cool? All right, so now we're gonna move on to, I'll go into health savings. So when you pay for your health insurance, it's a tax deduction. Any medical services you pay for is also a tax deduction. So same thing for that MRI. When you pay for your insurance through your work, you pay for it through your paycheck, right? Mm-hmm. But they take out your premiums before your actual you pay taxes. You notice the flow of your paycheck? So they take, it's your wage, then it's like 401k, your health insurance, and then they tax you whenever anything's left. So what you could do, you get a health savings account. And with the health savings account, you take out money pre-taxes. So if you make $1,500 a month, every 2 weeks, you take out $500 pre-taxes. That means you're only gonna get taxed on $1,000. But that $500 that you're taking out and putting into a health savings account is used to pay for medical services. So it's a nice little trade-off. The government's like, yeah, you can go ahead and take out money pre-taxes and use it to cover for medical services.
And how do you use that health savings account?
Good question. So they'll give you like a debit card. And what you do, you could only use that debit card, doctor's offices, chiropractor's offices, the pharmacy, anything to pay for any type of medical service. Do you have one?
I don't think so. But I don't have a HSA. I think I have it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's, every plan is different. Every employer has different, sometimes employers get discounts when they have more employees. I mean, it just varies, So each of you can have a health insurance plan and it can all be different, even if it's from the same company. Because what big companies, organizations do, they'll work out a deal with the insurance companies to let them know, hey, we have 2,000 employees, we want a good discount. What can you offer us? Versus myself, I'm like, well, I only have 5 employees, what can you give me? Well, because you don't have that many customers, we can't give you a deluxe premium, discount. We can give you this. So it gets complicated, but I don't want to bore you because you can fall asleep. But as long as you kind of get the gist of it, that's fine. But the health savings account, you can use it, and I believe it carries over. Now, there's different plans that some don't carry over. So say, for example, you guys deduct $200 a paycheck just for that. Come the end of the year, you don't spend it. So you have $2,000 in your health savings account. All right, now what am I gonna do with it? It rolls over. Let's say next year comes around, you get injured and playing soccer or playing a sport, you gotta go to the doctor, the hospital. You have $2,000 in your card that you can give to the hospital and they'll bill it. So you don't have to worry about it. So if you have a health savings account, put in a comfortable amount of money in there every month. So that way, if an emergency does happen, you have money in there. Because the last thing you want is to get injured and then you have to pay for it out of your pocket or you get sent to collections. You just don't want to go through that. So is that clear? You guys understand what the health savings account is? Cool. What's the difference between a health savings account and a high deductible plan?
So a health savings, you get money out, you take money from your paycheck pre-tax, and then that money you only use for medical. And high deductible, how do you have co-payment aside from your premium that you pay?
Cool. A+. HMO. Now, HMO always has a bad reputation. But HMO is actually not a bad thing. The main difference between the PPO and the HMO is that you have to get authorizations. Now, you guys are all young men. You guys rarely go to the doctor, right? You're like, I don't fucking need to go to the doctor, right? Aside from your annual physical, who has seen a medical doctor in the last 6 months? Raise your hand. Okay, so you've seen, actually I don't want to get in, I can't ask you like what you've seen it for, but very rarely do men use their insurance. So if you're a young guy, an HMO isn't a bad thing. The only difference is that if you sprain your ankle, you have to go to your primary care doctor first, which is a general doctor, and that general doctor is going to refer you to a specialist. So it's just going to delay you. That's all. But at the same time, you may not, the general doctor may be able to help your problem first, so you don't have to see the specialist. The medical doctor in the beginning can tell you, oh, you don't have a major injury. You could take this, anti-inflammatory, rest, and you'll be fine. So the whole design for this, for HMO, is to help people have a team of doctors take care of you, and that they all communicate. Raise your hand if you've heard of Kaiser. Okay, that's all of you, right? Does anyone have Kaiser? You have Kaiser. Kaiser's like HMO on steroids. It's like the most famous HMO. Everything's all there. They're all on the same system. Every doctor's in the same page. They're all they have like a little desk like this, and they know your file. They know if you've been into kp.org. I have Kaiser, and it's crazy. The good thing about that is that they know your information. Like if they need, I saw that you went to this doctor, I see you're being seen for this, and like, okay, I'm not gonna prescribe you this because you must be on this, because whatever. Bad thing is, if you think you have an injury or sickness, but if Kaiser doesn't think you have an illness or sickness, you don't have an illness or sickness. They stick together. So that's kind of one of the downsides about an HMO, about that second opinion, where you want to go out and you can't do that. With an HMO, it's a little trickier to go get a second opinion for any type of medical services. With the PPO, you can be like, I'm going to go see the other doctor over there. I don't care what you tell me. He's in network and I'm going to get paid. Very simple. Question?
Why is it like that though?
It's all due to save cost. I mean, give and take, right? We know ourselves. I know something's wrong with me. I know something's wrong with me. Sometimes that could be placebo. Sometimes it's not placebo. Sometimes we really have an injury. Like I'm in pain. But if a medical doctor doesn't feel that you do have an injury, it's going to be really hard to convince them, that you have an injury if they don't believe you have an injury. So in order for a company to save money, instead of you going from doctor to doctor and the insurance company keeps paying and paying and paying, they're like, I don't know, this person's fucking crazy. There's nothing wrong with them, but we're paying their bill. This kind of prevents that from happening. Does that make sense? So that's an HMO. HMOs usually have a set copay. That's the best thing about an HMO. Any of you here dads? No dads? All right, cool. But if you have a PPO and you have a health saving or a high deductible plan, you have to pay for that deductible first. Remember I was showing you that deductible? That deductible right over here. Before, that lovely little baby that comes out, it's $2,700. That's just the deductible, right? Not including the co-pays and co-insurances. One of the guys that I know that's one of my customers, he spent $12,000 on a hospital bill for his wife. I'm like, wow.
Wait, why?
They had a high deductible plan, and that was their setup to cover California.
12,000. That was a deductible? Or?
In between their deductible and their out-of-pocket. I'll get to the out-of-pocket later.
Oh.
So the deductible is that's your minimum to play the game. But once you're in the game, you're using your insurance, there's another number. It's like another level that you still have to pay. And once you reach that, then they pay 100%. Yeah. So really, really understand your plan, because if right now you're all young, you're all under 20, right? Oh, no, you're all under 30, under 30, right? Right now, you're rarely going to use your insurance plan. But when you guys start to have families and you have wives and you have kids, I mean, you start getting to different expenses, things go up. So you have to make sure that you balance out. You're going to have to pay a higher premium. So you'll pay more every paycheck or every month, but you'll pay less deductible. So the higher the premium you pay, higher the premium, the less deductible. The less premium, the higher deductible.
And
So which would you choose?
it would be better, right? Like if you're young, so you get the high deductible because you assume you're not going to use it that much.
Correct. But always be prepared. Always be prepared. Always have a stash of money available in case you have it. I mean, at the end of the year, if you end up saving $2,500 for medical expenses that you don't use, but you still have it, I mean, are you going to fucking cry about it? No, you're like, oh, it's $2,500, fuck yeah. Right? That's what it is. Always have a nice little safety net, just in general, because you just never know what's going to happen. Especially, like, I snowboard, so I can go down a route and it could get super icy, and I'm like, if I fall, and when any of you guys snowboard? Like when it's icy, like you can't stop. Like you're going, you're like kicking your board, like you can't stop. And you can hit a tree and just really wreck yourself. So if I were to get in an accident, I know I'm covered. One, I have coverage, but two, if shit, push came to shove, I would have money to cover my expenses. Always have that covered, because as you get older, you want to keep your money. You don't want to kind of like let it out. So higher the deductible, lower the premium, and then higher the premium. So as once you get to my age, you'll be spending more in premium. You'll pay more every month, so that way you don't have to spend $12,000 to have a baby. Unless you want to spend $12,000 for a baby. It's a really expensive baby. And you can't return the baby. You're like, can I take it back? Okay, go back? No, you can't. All right, so back to HMO.
How are the premiums on an HMO? Are they higher than?
It depends on the plan. Traditionally, HMO premiums have always been less because there's always the delay of care. There's roadblocks before you can get to a dermatologist. There's a roadblock before you can get to an orthopedic, because the organization is preventing you from doing that. So traditionally, HMOs have been less expensive. But if you go to Covered California, Kaiser, their good plans, are very expensive. And one thing that I advise young people is that the money you spend on a premium, you don't get back. Like it's gone. Goes away. But if you have a health savings account and you're saving that money for this to pay this deductible, that's yours. It carries over, so you can use it for in the future if you ever get sick.
And there's no expiration date, right, for that money that goes into it?
That depends on the plans. They all vary. There's some that you have to use it that year, and there's some that just carries over. Always ask, because it's never the same. That's what makes it so complicated. You're just like, well, technically it's supposed to carry over, but some employers, they'll put like, no, you can't. You have to use it. You use it or lose it. They have that rule. So you have to like use it. So, yeah, right. I would be like, fucking, let's go to Vegas, boys. Fucking, this is the health insurance expense, right? I'm sick of me. I need to recover, right? But I think it's how they bill it. It has something with health. I'd get like, if you wear glasses, contacts, frames. I'd find a way to spend it. I'd buy hearing aids. I don't even need hearing aids. Well, actually, I kind of do, but I would like fucking buying hearing aids, resell it, and then get your money back if I needed to. So, any questions that you guys want me to go over? Anything that is not clear, so you guys can get a better understanding? Do you guys feel more like a more educated consumer when it comes to health insurance? So now when you talk to people, you don't feel like ignorant. You're like, what is this guy talking about? Cool. So that was my goal. As long as you guys know the basic stuff. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. My information's in the back. Or you guys can email me. My email is really simple. Email is info@medicarenick.com. Or you could just find me on Facebook. I usually make funny videos to try to catch attention. I had to do my own marketing. So, cool.